Perfect. We're live now. Oksana, giving to you. The thing is to solve it.
Okay, finally. Thank you. It's our good vibes that help us.
Yes.
So, and once again, good evening, everyone. Good evening to all of you here. So, and we continue to meet with representatives of Rigathi Girls partner companies. And our meeting the part of Working Tech program. This is a program for women who are improving their technical skills and they're mastering the profession of IT support specialist. And today we're pleased to meet with Atea representatives. And here we could meet a very large team at the meeting today. And so, of course, to start with, I will pass the word to Daniela Rubule, Creative and Marketing Director. So, Daniela, please introduce your company and business streams and tell us more about Atea and its business.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Oksana, for a lovely introduction. So as Oksana already said, my name is Daniela Rubule. I'm the Creative and Marketing Director here at Atea. And I've been a part of Atea for the past 5 years now. And obviously in the work that I do, I've managed to develop a story of how I tell people what is Atea and what we do. But that story recently changed. It changed just 2 weeks ago. So my old version was that I used to tell the story how every time that I would, because I'm a typical creative person, so I like to sleep in and then work a little bit later in the evenings. So this is perfect. These are perfectly normal work hours for me. And every time that I would go home later from the office, all the taxi drivers would ask me, "Oh, so I see the big sign next to your office. So what is Atea?" And for them, I would always say we are a typical Nordic IT company, because to me, in the way that I think about a Nordic IT company, and for the purposes of that conversation, they didn't need to know more, because that gave a perfect estimation of our size, of the kind of culture we have, of the middle age that we have in our company. But that's the story for them. And then I have the story for in these type of situations or to students, where you say, but actually we are much more than that, because we are not typical at all. And 2 weeks ago, we were all actually, I think all of us here who are in this meeting from Atea, we were part of the biggest event in Atea history. We were a part of the Place to Be event, because as you can see here, the Place to Be is the basis for all our culture. And this event gathered around 7,000 people from all of the Nordic countries that we represent. So Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and the entirety of the Baltics. 7 countries, 7,500 people for 3 to 4 days in one location. That was the Place to Be event. And at that event, the first day when we arrived, everyone's settling in, everything's going on, people are having fun, people are getting ready for all the partner meetings, all the get-togethers, all the partying, and the country sessions and everything. There's just a lot of excitement in the air. But and you can see walking around, everyone has their little table set up, they're having fun. But what one of our teams did was started bringing their terrace tables outside on the sidewalk and created this huge long table. And people would just pass by, come sit down, bring their own drinks, have a talk, play an introduction game. And later on in the evening, it was around 11, 12 already, our group COO walks by. And he just says hi to everyone. And of course, everyone starts to be like, "Oh, come on, Kala, come sit down with us, have a glass of wine, have a drink." And at first he says no, but on the second ask, he sat down, he had a conversation with us. We engaged, we talked about the event, we talked about the different plans, the new strategy that's going on. And at that point, it was very clear what is our culture. Our culture is to be the place to be. Our culture is to come together. We do, even in a setup of 6,500, 7,000 people, we do have a very flat structure, and I am very proud of that. So our group in its entirety is 7,500 people located over 7 different countries. Our main business is IT infrastructure. So we are one of the largest IT infrastructure company in Nordics, the 3rd largest in all of Europe. And even in that setup, we have a COO who is willing to sit down with anyone, have a glass of wine, have a conversation. We have a CEO who gets up on stage and opens his shirt and shows that he's done a tattoo of our company mission. So we are a company who represents their values. We all come together. We are very curious in the way that we approach our work, the way that we explore our passions, the way that we let our employees grow and support them. We are super passionate about what we do, passionate from the perspective of how can we create better solutions, how can we approach new people, how can we grow, responsible in the sense of our efforts for sustainability, but also responsible in our own growth, in finding our passion in growing inside the company and providing better opportunities, not just for ourselves as well, but also for our customers and our partners. And all of this, we are definitely together. And here in Riga, we are 550 colleagues now, split out into 4 branches that represent the managed services side, digital services, the international customer center, and as well the business services center side. So it's a wide array of specialists offering, collaborating together, and having a lot of career growth opportunities internally. And the way that we look at the future is that we want to build it with IT. And that is a little bit of an intro about who we are. And now I'm going to give a word to my colleague, Ance, representing HR.
Yes, so hello, everyone. I always love hearing this new story we have created together. Actually, first time when Daniela told us was in our own country session. So it almost brought me to tears because it really truly represents, I think, for what we are and gives us this family feeling. So my kind of job is to encourage everyone to become a family for AGS. So yeah, Daniela, maybe we can move on to the next slide. So yes, we have a couple of open positions that may interest you. What is our process, as how kind of you can apply as well. We have had a couple of ladies joining us from Riga Tech Girls as well. We have kind of start positions, which are English speaking IT support specialist or IT case coordinator, where you can start your IT career if you don't have any previous experience. Sorry, I'm so sorry. My puppy is now all of a sudden trying to pay attention. And from there, you can start and move on to any other position you would be interested or getting different types of certifications while being a junior and moving on to more difficult or more specific positions. But yeah, we have a good kind of career stories where also one lady from Riga Tech Girls joined us, and now she's a senior in IT case coordinator department. So as I always say, kind of what we are looking for is just kind of interests in IT and all of other stuff, we can teach you. We can move on from here. About the recruitment process is pretty easy. You apply to our site because we need your consent so we can use your CV. And afterwards, it's just CV screening. We invite you to the interview. And afterwards, it's hopefully an offer. But as well, I would like to encourage you all that if you're participating in this event and you see something you would be interested in, or you don't even see it, just you can always reach me out on LinkedIn or write me to my email address, and we can look, maybe we have something similar or some position that may be available soon. So don't be shy and just reach out to us after this event. Yes. And about the junior positions, as I mentioned, these are the most easiest positions to apply to. You just need the interest and English language skill, and that's basically it. So yes, you can check out our open vacancies in our Atea Global Services site. No, it's Atea Global, right?
Yes.
After the presentation, there will be a link, so it will be very easy for you to open it just up and see all our available vacancies.
So yeah, and also just remember something that Anna already mentioned is that if you don't necessarily see the position that interests you, or you feel like you might not have the needed skill set to apply yet, or you don't feel as comfortable, remember there's always the possibility to start out in the company in a position you feel more secure about, and then grow inside the company. We've had a lot of very positive career development stories and career paths in our company where people have really grown internally. And the main idea is, at least what I would recommend, if you find a company that you like, either it's Atea or it's another company, just start out there, learn from the inside, and then grow inside the company, because you can always find great mentors that will be able to help you along the way and already help you understand what are the skill sets that you might need, and help you grow within the company, because then you already know so many things about the company, and it's just
much easier that way.
Exactly. So, and today we also have a couple of our really cool colleagues here to tell you a bit more about their career journeys overall and within Atea as well. So I'm going to give a word now to, let's see for this to change, to Ieva Natālija.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ieva, and thank you so much for inviting me to share my experience and story. I am very honored to actually participate in Riga Tech Girls event, as I am currently one of the people who is participating in Get to Know Technologies. So I'm really grateful for Riga Tech Girls creating such community and such opportunities for women to learn more about technologies and to know that IT is nothing scary. It's actually such a wide spectrum where everyone can find their niche and find their place and really expand their views. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here today. And maybe one of the reasons why I also I'm here, I really want to encourage women to work in IT and share how my journey was like, both in IT and in Atea. Thank you. Yeah, so to be honest, my career has been going in two parallel timelines. And I think that one of the examples, one of the reasons why I'm glad to share my story is because my education actually is in translation and interpretation. So I studied both my bachelor's and master's in conference interpreting. But at the same time, I started working in IT about 12 years ago, and it started as temporary. And as we know, nothing lasts as long as temporary. Yeah, initially I just started working with IT processes, both in procurement and accounting, and I found these processes really interesting. It was fascinating for me to see how how to create order out of chaos, how all the pieces, puzzle pieces fit together. And I was starting to move on in more various fields in IT, onto where I tried working in service desk. And then I was also started managing service desk, and that's how my career in management started. But about IT, honestly, my first experience in IT was when I was in the 6th or 7th grade. So I was about 12 or 13. And I didn't have a computer back home, but we started learning how to code with some very old programming languages called QBasic and Pascal. I don't think that anyone uses them anymore. And as I didn't have any computer at home, I would go home and draw the code on paper and write the commands and the lines. And then I would go back to school, find an empty computer class, or just like in a computer, and I would copy paste all the lines from the paper into the computer and see how they work. And imagine the disappointment when something doesn't work. And now I have to go through the paper and find where the mistake is. And I really enjoyed it because it also gave me like the fundamental understanding of how the code works. Yeah, afterwards, I only got the computer when I was 17, and the hard drive was 2 gigabytes at the time. So not a lot of coding was going on there. And I think that's what also was one of the reasons why I chose to study translation, because I was much more confident in my language skills. But the curiosity about the technology, it never left me. And I'm really happy that it happened like this. So during all these, during these 12 years when I have been working in IT, I have also been working translating books, mainly fiction from Swedish and English for the publishing houses, Zvaigznes ABC and Mansards. I've also been participating and interpreting, for example, TEDx conferences before COVID, and participated in UN conferences and interpreted them about the topics of refugees, as that's an issue that I find very important. And last year, I also finally published my own crime novel called The Seal of Silence, and that's when I decided I am done with literature. I really want to put all my energy into IT, because it actually takes so much energy to be in 2 different fields. And now I'm in Atea. I've joined Atea since January this year, and I couldn't be happier for this opportunity, because not only I enjoy working in this environment, this international environment, as in my team, we are people that are working from Sweden, from Poland, and we're different types of nations, different nationalities. And it's amazing what we can do together. Like, the atmosphere is so friendly and supporting. One of the paths in the journey was when I was offered to, I'm managing UX and intranet team. So UX is one of the parts, and intranet is the internal network communication that happens in the whole company. And UX came actually later on. I was offered to manage the UX team, and I was asking my manager, but I don't have experience in UX. I know nothing about UX. How can I manage a team? He's like, but you're managing developers. You don't know how to code. So I took the challenge, and it meant a lot of learning, because I think it's the right choice when you pick a job that is a couple of steps above you. Because if you're picking a job that you're perfectly qualified for, you're probably overqualified. So it meant so much learning and getting to know both the fields, the tools, the processes. And I love a job where you can learn and grow as a person, because, you know, we're living in this world that is changing in an insane speed. And to keep up, you have to constantly learn and find out what is new on the market, what is new out there, what are the new technologies. So to sum up, there are a couple of lessons learned that maybe I would like to share. If Daniela, you could click. Thank you so much. And it actually goes in alignment with our values in Atea as well, because I think the most important thing is the curiosity for knowledge. Because when you're curious and when you have the courage to experiment and try out new things, try out what this button do, or what does this button do, or when you read an article about the topic you don't know about, like, it expands your view and it puts even more of the puzzle pieces together, and it creates this amazing image of the world. And I also want to emphasize that you don't need a 4-year degree in IT to be able to work in the field of IT, because IT is such a wide, broad field, and it takes it always welcomes talents both from arts and from music, and you can take your skill and really use it in IT and make so many people's lives better by the skill. I've also used so much the platforms of Coursera, Pluralsight, and Udemy to improve my knowledge. But of course, I really want to thank Riga Tech Girls, because Riga Tech Girls is not only a learning platform, it's a whole community. So when you get the knowledge, you're not by yourself. You're not lost. What do I do now? Like, there are so many people you can connect, and you can ask questions, and you can, continue this journey, which I think is so important. And also the responsibility towards ourselves to take care of yourself, because life is a marathon, and you need to take care of your body and your mind, and you need to give yourself a rest, because Rome wasn't built in one day. And you need to actually let all of that sink in, and be really kind to yourself, because I think that sometimes we are kinder to people around us than we are to ourselves, and rest is very important. So thank you so much for letting me share. That's it for me for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ieva, so much. Now we have another colleague, Sindija. Sindija is also a service delivery manager, but I'll let her introduce herself more.
Sure. Thank you, Daniela. So yes, I am a service delivery manager. Though on IT side, a little bit different division, I would assume. But Daniela already mentioned the part about growing inside of Atea, or internally in Atea. So you will be probably not surprised when you will see how I have grown, I guess. But yeah, so as a service delivery manager, I'm managing the client operations services in our IT division. So, I don't know, services like application packaging or security, group policy management, and so on. So my day consists of making sure that everything is running smoothly according to the service levels that the customer have agreed with us, creating various reports, having meetings with the customer on, operational tactical levels, and talking about service improvements, contract lifecycle, like everything under the sun, I guess you would say. I would also like to think that I'm kind of the person or the bridge between the customer and our internal teams. So, it's kind of making everybody happy and still doing my job, and also taking care of myself. But yeah, I guess we can go to the next slide to kind of show more or less how my path in Atea went. So it all started out back in 2013. I was still in college, actually, at this time. I was 19 years old, and I came to Atea while I was doing my qualifications work in college. So I worked for a short 6 months, and then I went back to graduate. But Atea was kind enough to keep me as an employee while I went back to college. So after I came back, and here, yeah, you'll be able to go to the next step. Great. After I came back, I was given the opportunity to work in the dispatching team. The dispatching team that actually is for client operations. So I have come full circle currently, but yeah. And here I worked for even shorter period, or 3 months. And at that point, I was approached to kind of, or given an opportunity to work in a team that was created. It was fresh, and it was there for handling kind of global deliveries, and those are outside Atea home markets. So that is where I grew my career for the most of the time that I've been in Atea. That is where I gained my first management experience, and also was given the opportunity to work as a project manager. And take it, still, everything is without a IT kind of knowledge or background, just plainly working, learning, and growing internally, and just being given the opportunities to do so. So after all of these years in ASCC division, I felt that I'm ready to move forward. And thankfully, it was not moving away from Atea. So my next step was actually a small leap back to IT division. So now I'm part of the service delivery manager team, and currently actually managing a couple of the largest client operations customers. So again, a big trust from the company in their people. Of course, along the way, a lot of courses, a lot of other trainings and everything, but all of it has been at my own pace and when I'm ready, and just there to help you when you're ready for it. And there are these kind of lines, since I think that this is probably not the last step for me in this company, and I do see some more potential and some growth still internally. And I guess the tips or suggestions from my side would be to simply go for it, even through the doubt and the fear that you might have. So that's definitely always going to be there. And if you're scared, then you're probably going in the right direction. And another thing is to never be afraid to fail, because the most important is just to try. And yeah, I guess that's it. Short and simple from my side.
Love that. Thank you so much, Cindy. This was actually the first time I think I've seen Sindija present, and I think I'm going to ask you more and more in the future. So thank you.
Great.
And now we have Monta, who's our business intelligence developer. But Monta, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Monta, and in the picture I am in the event that we participated, the whole company. So about myself, I work, as you can see, as a business intelligence developer, and my job is to create reports from data that can be used to get valuable insights and also make the daily work easier for other colleagues. And I will just tell you my backstory. How did I end up here? In high school, oh, sorry, looks like I have some issues. My computer is starting right now.
We can still hear you, Monta, if anything.
Oh, it will restart like in some seconds. I will try to be back as soon as possible.
So today we have a test session for our support specialist. Yes.
Maybe while we wait for Monta, we can give a word to our next colleague and then get back to Monta.
I think we can just answer some questions that we have already in chat. Yes. One question was about the level of English skills, and Anna answered that international language is English, so English proficiency, fluency in English, both written and spoken, is nice, more than nice to have. Yes, we don't ask for language certificate, but speaking skill will be tested during the interview. So I think that B1, B2 is the required level. If I may correct, yes,
we had yeah, I mean, we had some people who had B1, for example, but working more in English and speaking every day, it just becomes better and better every day. So but B2 would be recommended. It would be just more easier for everybody and for other people involved as well, because also we have a knowledge bases in English, so basically everything is in English in our company. So
yeah, the IT world is in English. Yes. And one more question is, what about technical tests for IT support specialists? Do you have any
for IT case coordinators or for English support? No, we don't have any tests. But when we move up the ladder and there are developers and stuff, then we do tests, and they are provided after the first interview by the test, and after the test we can move on to the second interview.
Thanks. Thank you for this answer, and thanks, girls, for sharing information about the company. You are so inspiring. For now, just want to listen to your stories. That's one comment from our chat. So, some more questions? Okay.
Maybe the ladies in the chat can share and represent what kind of direction are you more interested in working within tech, if you already know or not. Is it more IT support, or is it more DevOps, or is it something else? Would be just also interesting for us to see. Then we can maybe tell you more about each of those directions in our company as well.
Great. That's great, and we have Monta back.
I am back.
Yes.
Of course, my computer decided to restart when I needed to speak.
Yep.
But
Usual thing.
I will just continue where I left. So, talking about my background in high school, as a lot of people, I didn't know what I want to do in future, and I knew that I want to study something, and then I went through different study programs and learned what they are, and in the end I ended up studying e-business and logistics management systems in University of Latvia. And in the high school I liked economics and business studies also, and seemed interesting for me, but I wanted to study something more specialized. At first, I was interested in logistics sphere, but I also thought that studying IT-related subjects could be useful. And in university, I had 2 internships, which were more related to logistics. And the second internship was in company Omniva. And I got the internship because I was participating in a project called Demola, where students from Latvian universities solve different problems that companies have. And in my team, our problem to solve was to provide a solution for Omniva to know where to put their next parcel machines. And I was the person who gathered most of the data necessary for our solution. And it was a very interesting process for me. And of course, with my knowledge today, some things I could have done differently. And yes, and after the project, I applied for an internship. And one thing that I learned while in my internship is that making assumptions in business without the data most likely will lead to wrong results. And after my internship, we had to present our internship experience, and one of my study mates told about his internship in business intelligence field. And I was really intrigued by the presentation, and it seemed like it could be an interesting job, and I kept it in my mind. And soon enough, graduation came the time that I needed to apply for a job. I applied to different vacancies, but one that I wanted the most was in this company as junior business intelligence analyst. And at that time, the expectations weren't high in the position, and to my surprise, I was accepted. And what I could tell about my university and my studies, that it gave me flexibility to choose my career path, and also the knowledge that is helpful today. And actually in university, I had a course in business intelligence, but interestingly, I didn't quite enjoy it. And because it was mainly doing things by instruction. I believe I had about 1 or 2 lessons where we used a program, Power BI, that I use in my daily work. And at that time, I thought when I applied for this position that I knew some of it, but then I realized that I know absolutely nothing, and I had to learn it from scratch. And yes, and in my journey, around 1 year later, I became a business intelligence analyst, and now I am currently a business intelligence developer. And what I could say about my daily work is that it consists of communicating with clients, getting requirements, creating new reports, or adjusting existing ones. Also some infrastructure maintenance and fixing different bugs. And what I could say that this work has developed me as a person and taught me many lessons, also many painful lessons, and that were necessary for growth. And I wouldn't change anything in my journey because I learned the best from my experiences. And yes, and in this field, if you would like to work, I would just suggest you to look for the requirements that are asked for this role. For example, most of the time it will be experience with different business intelligence tools, knowledge of ETL processes and data modeling, and also SQL knowledge. And what like skills that you need, this not like technical skills, but like more soft skills, I would say, is analytical thinking, problem solving skills, attention to detail, and communication skills. And for girls that are interested in IT field, I would just suggest to look what in particular you would like to do, and learning what knowledge is necessary and what the daily work is like to understand if it suits you or not. And for future developers or programmers, I would just suggest to make some projects on your own for fun. For example, I have made a report with my analysis of my full Spotify listening history to understand my listening habits. And in this way, you will make something that is fun, but also at the same time, you will learn a lot and develop new skills and also your creative muscles. And in Atea, it is my first like full-time job, and I'm really lucky that I'm here and being together with these all amazing people around. And yes, it is a great company to work in. And yes, that is all from my side. And thank you for patience.
Thank you so much, Monta. And now we have a colleague who's an Atea veteran, or as I've heard himself refer to him as a dinosaur. So, Robert, the stage is yours.
Yes, good evening, everyone. And I'm happy to be here. And I am guessing that I'm the only guy here, and I'm proud to be able to join. So, yeah, as introduced, my name is Robert, and I joined Atea in 2006. And you heard it right, it was 16 years ago. And as many people are referring that something temporary is probably for a while, but then I'm a certain example of that. What I did back in 2006 when I started, I was studying the programming in Vidzem University in Valmiera, and I got a call from Atea back then, and I started from the position of consultant, and was doing many interesting things here and there since then. And to move on, if we can move to the next slide, Daniela, please. We did great. I finished the university, and shortly after I started in Atea, we got to go for more. So university is the place where you definitely get a lot of knowledge, but always there is more to learn, and we were supported by the company back then, and we are supporting also today a lot of learning possibilities. So for example, if any one of you have heard of Baltijas Dator Academy, for example, or have seen other Microsoft related or other exams and courses, this is all that our company supports through the years, and then that's how we build the competence in our people that we are working with. And I did actually quite good back then, and in 2009 I was invited and to go and work for Atea in Oslo in Norway. So that was another unique opportunity, which our company, because of its location and being Scandinavian and having actually a lot of offices around Oslo, around Norway, around Finland, Denmark, and Sweden, can emerge. And I took that opportunity back then, and that was a lifetime experience. And again, I went over and I started to live in Oslo suddenly one day, and again, no learning stops there. So I was going and attending the Norwegian language courses to learn Norwegian, because I wanted to understand them more and so on. But despite the stereotypes that the life in Norway is luxury and they have high level salaries and compared to other countries and so on, I returned back home to Latvia after 1 year after 1 year working in Oslo. And I'm still certain that was the right choice, and I wanted my home country Latvia to be the place that brings and makes all these great things. Yeah. So what brought me back to put a little on that was actually the social life out there, because when you go abroad you are more like a foreigner for them, and then it's nothing as good as being back home. So that's why I have on the slide that Latvia is a beautiful country to have a life in. If we move on, when we talk about the IT, no job is easy. And as you can see, that is what also Dave, who is 28 years old, is stating. And that's something that I want to still give you a thought around after you leave this session tonight, that when we talk about IT today, because of the way that IT has developed, everyone is expecting that IT is only about high salaries. It's about the software developers who are earning mountains of money and so on. But I also want you to understand that it all takes a lot of effort. Wherever we start, whichever level we start at, it takes a lot of learning to take. It takes a lot of experience to take. And it's probably very similar as in many other industries. And why I'm probably happy also to be tonight here is that in my team, in the service team that I'm leading here in Riga, where we are around 80 people today, I have actually two girls that come from Riga Tech girls community, and previously also referred to. So it is possible, and as I was saying another day, it's not the end. I'm sure, and I want that we have more girls coming from this community, and I can share that even in our daily practice, we have implemented some good thing that we have heard and we have seen from the tech girls. For example, the Google IT course that many of you have went through, we have implemented and adopted to be our routine in our company also. So it's great to see how we can both give and take, and so yeah. Yes, if we move on, we had a crazy times, and everyone has been speaking about that in one or other format, which was the pandemics or the good and well-known COVID things. We are located today in on Mūkasala Street, where you can see also on the picture our office. And the picture was taken during the COVID time when I arrived in the office, and there was literally no one in the office, and it felt so odd and so strange. And but we as IT were probably a bit kind of honored as many of the technologies that we are using in our daily life, working with the customers, did allow us to switch to the remote work basically in a few days after the lockdown was out there. And what I want to say is that during the COVID, and if we move to the next slide, even more, we went from being the office people to being true remote people. And I had in my team people working both from Riga, from their flats, as well as people working from Latgale, like from Rezekne, and even to the most extreme examples, as we had a team member working from France. Yeah, so that's what pandemics brought us or opened opportunities for us. Yes, we are moving or trying to move into the office or hybrid model at the moment, and whenever a new person is trying to start work at Atea, we are welcoming him to start or her to start in the office, but afterwards the hybrid is possible at the moment. Yeah, so yes, and if we move on, then the next picture is actually my family picture or picture from my private archive, where my son is actually serving fruits to my grandfather, which is his great grandfather. And why I wanted to add this, because I think Atea for me has brought a lot of opportunities, and I got my son while I was working here in Atea. I got married when I was working here in Atea, and in Atea we do balance these things really out, and we are not just having that on the slides, but we are having that in the practice. And my grandfather, who is on the picture, was the one who actually bought my first computer back in 2000. And funny enough, but there was no internet connection back then, so I was barely not able to do anything with that computer. But that was probably the little thing that brought me or made me choose the IT as my university program. Yeah. Yes, and a lot of slides from me, but I promise this is the last one. Everyone has some hard days and tough times when the wrong decisions are made, and here I am after an accident on a bicycle championship. I wish that all of you actually shoot high and give it a try to the things that you can do today. Don't leave them for tomorrow. And that's what I'm saying when I'm referring when I took the chance to go abroad and work in Oslo. That's where you go and you are actually, I think, made your first step joining the Riga Tech Girls for one or other reason. Yeah. And don't wait the time of your pension when the kids grow up or something. Do it today, and do it and start with yourself. Yeah, that's really what I suggest. And if you will not try to do something, if you will not try to submit your application for an open position, whether that be Atea or not, you have to look in a year from now. And I wish all of you could say, great that I did it back then in September 2022. So hope to see you around. And I'm probably out of my time, and I leave the stage or next slide to Daniela, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. And if anyone is interested in finding out more, you can find the open positions here. And also I would recommend that you just follow us on social. We do post open job applications, and you can always connect with us there. Thank you guys for the opportunity.
Oh, that was amazing. I have just one question to Robert. So can you please tell us how many years have you been with the company? So Daniela mentioned that you're a dinosaur, but how many years have you been here?
Yeah, it's exactly from 2006. So I celebrated the 16-year birthday on 1st of September, a few days ago, because in 2006 we started on the 1st of the September. So that was the first day when Atea was open here in Riga. Yeah.
So Robert, you should actually say that, well, Atea is 16, but Robert has been working here for at least 17 years.
Yeah.
Well, amazing. Yeah, that's truly amazing. Well, we have some questions in chat, and I will read them aloud to our those who are viewing us on YouTube. Good to know them. I want to start my career in IT as an IT support specialist, and I want to know if you have a training period during which I can learn more about the work. Well, and here is the answer from Anna. We have training period, and yes, you will have mentor, a senior agent, and a large knowledge base, and as well very responsive and nice colleagues. Anna, any comments to this question, probably?
As I answered, yes, there is a training period which you will be basically using the knowledge base and using the mentor's skill sets. And of course, during that time, you won't be, for some time until you are kind of ready and feel confident, you won't be put online. But again, also after the training period initial, there are always our seniors, and they are, again, very, very responsive and very, very easy to work with together.
Okay. Another question is, what kind of positions are available for people without any IT background? Is there a mentoring at the very beginning? Well, thanks. Well, yes, and I could see that Anna answered that you have a couple of positions available without IT background. For example, previously mentioned IT support specialist or IT case coordinator. And yes, in Atea, there are mentors or department seniors who are very knowledgeable people. Yep.
And also just beyond IT support specialists, you can also, if you feel more comfortable, growing through our business services center or one of the other divisions. So there's a lot of internal career paths available.
Yes, a lot of comments about Agnes's question. What are the main factors that can affect the growth of employee in the company? For example, starting from a junior position. Any comments on that? Just in not only in written, but maybe we can talk about it a little more.
Daniela, you can repeat what you wrote. It was great.
And so a thing that I always say to my team or anyone asking is that technical skills you can always learn. The main thing is what kind of colleague you are, what kind of employee you are. So just show your best attitude, be passionate, be interested, be helpful, try to learn, right? Be open to learning, be open to growing. And that's the main thing, because it's again, it's easy to learn technical skills, but it's hard to find good people, people who are willing to develop themselves, go the extra step, grow. So, and if you do all of that, and if you are passionate, growth will come, and job opportunities will come, and promotions will come. So to say, good things happen to good people. So.
Oh, well, yes. Thanks for this answer. So any more questions, please? So everyone is so inspired with your stories. Golden words, they say. Okay.
I can see that there in the chat was question, could you please post in the chat link to open positions? And I can see that Ance post there this link. So maybe we will later post it also in this our Work in Tech Slack channel. Yeah.
Yes, sure. We should do this. Is it possible to apply for an internship? Are there any internships?
So currently, there are no open, no official internships, but if you are interested in a specific field, you can always message us either on, maybe you can also post the HR email in the chat, or reach out to us through any social media channels or anywhere else. And because those are usually the things, even if there aren't any open positions, but if you show a lot of interest, you know, we might find something, and we might be able to offer you something.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here are some emails. Of course, we put this to our Slack channel for our Work in Tech participants. Well, it's an excellent presentation and such lovely stories that always help you to find what is behind the company's title, what's behind the company's name. Yeah, great. Mm-hmm. Any questions? Maybe someone wants to unmute microphone and say it aloud.
If someone's interested, while you're gathering up the courage for those questions, we've also done internal internships. So if someone in a different team wants to, either for their bachelor's or master's degree, intern in a different team, they've also had the possibilities to do that. I have had several internal interns in my team from the Business Services Center, people who are studying either in marketing or graphic design, and they've had their regular job and still been able to intern to have all those documents and everything set, and actually do some fun projects internally, just to show you how we really care about the growth within our company for our employees.
Okay. Well, I see that there are no more questions, so we are going to finish our meeting, and I'd like to say a huge thanks to the Atea team for this great team performance even, yes, and this truly inspiring stories. So, and we at Rigatech Girls, we always look forward to seeing you in our meetings, in our sessions. Well, thank you one more time. And if there are no more questions, I'd like to say a good evening to everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
for
and
having us.
bye-bye.
Nice
Thank you.
evening.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.